Right, here we are folks in Virtual Pool 4 online again, and we have a second round match tonight in the 2018 Straight Pool Virtual World Championships. We'll have a look at the bracket and we'll see it's a match between djsimon and Frankel, who comprehensively won his first round match by 150 points to 5. And as far as I'm aware, nobody's told me anything different. He's had the highest run in the tournament so far, a run of 71 in that match. And the match we're waiting for will start in a couple of minutes, or might even be up now, between Frankel and djsimon. Well, we're waiting in the room going up. We are live streaming hopefully on YouTube and Twitch, and the chat is linked so that I can see both channel chats on my screen, so feel free to join in if you want. And well, I'm going to come straight out and say it. Simon is the heavy underdog in this match. He's going to have to play clever. He's going to have to be thinking about what he's doing, because that's one thing that Frankel will be doing. And really plot your way around this table, because that's the only way you're going to get runs in this game. I'll have a quick drink before we start. So, Frankel gave me the nod earlier on that they were going to start about 8:30, so thanks for that. I've got 2 days off, so I can get the match in no problem tonight. And we are just beyond the half-hour mark, and the room is up. And of course the most important part of this game is the break-off, and whoever wins the lag is going to put their opponent into break. So Frankel is in, and we're waiting on djsimon arriving. I'll check my little doodle thing's working. And it's working okay. A very difficult game a lot of the time in straight pool to actually prophesy what a player's going to do. You know, sometimes there's unconventional shots played, but really it's just about picking off the open balls. Don't try to break open balls when they don't necessarily need it. A lot of the time balls might be gathered in a small cluster, but if you look closely you'll see that sometimes they've got a pocket anyway, and you don't need to try and break them out of desperation. Well, Simon has gone, or had gone, to get his dinner, so here's hoping he's back in time. The worst thing that's going to happen here is he doesn't turn up. So it's a race to 150. It's a double elimination tournament. Race to 150 on the winner's side, and a race to 100 on the one loss side. So here we go with the lag. Now I don't know whose cue is what here, because they both look the same to me, or very similar. But we'll find out in a second or two. But as I say, this is the most important shot you'll have in straight pool, the actual break-off. Very important to win it. Or to win the lag, sorry. And Frankel has won the lag, and as expected has put djsimon in. And very difficult to keep it safe in straight pool in the break as well, considering a couple of balls etc have got to hit the rails, and he's scratched. So ball in hand behind the head string for Frankel, and he's got an easy starter, and he's got about 6 balls that are in the open and can be potted. Now, if there's anybody watching on the stream, do me a quick favour, just type something in the chat. That way I know it's working. And if you're not watching the stream, don't type anything. And one thing about Frankel is, generally he's got a very good hold in the pace of his shots, which makes him very accurate a lot of the times. Now he's gone out of line there, and that's a mistake. Now he can play a safety, and he's maybe looking to nudge whether he can push that 5 past the 4 and just run that cue ball into the bunch of balls. That would be the safe shot. Well, he's looking. Is he looking to line up the pot? I don't think so. I think he's just looking to lock up the cue ball. He's looking for a way to do it. Maybe he's lining up the pot. That's what I say. It's difficult to judge exactly what a player's doing, but I'd be looking to tuck that cue ball away. Well, not the best of safeties, because he could possibly have pushed that 5 ball through. That 5 ball looked as if it would push through, and you could run the cue ball somewhere in there and tight against an object ball, but it's given djsimon an early opportunity to get some points on the board. Now, anywhere into the middle of the table. Now, see, that type of shot there is just relying on a bit of luck to get on a ball, because there are balls in the open. You've got to play more deliberately. This is what Simon has to do. He has to try and match his opponent, and it's got to involve a lot of thought and take your time. I don't know what the shot clock is, but it must be about 45 seconds to a minute. There's enough time to think about your shot. So this time Simon has gone out of line, and again he needs to look at a safety. Now, I did give him a bit of advice earlier on about the deliberate foul, which a lot of players in straight pool don't even think about it, but sometimes it's the only option. Now, that isn't keeping them tight. That's just an open invitation. Now, I don't know whether this chat is working at all, but I'm going to paste it in again, I think. Just try and paste in the... I see the chat now. I see it there. Let me see if it's actually showing up in the room again. Hang on a minute. Right, hold on. I need to fix something because it's not showing on my screen, but I can see the chat there, guys. Just hang on a sec to try and get this bloody thing working. That's what's wrong. I haven't got it checked for visibility. Right. Let me try that now. Right, I'm seeing it now on the screen. That's better. Yeah, Napnicker actually recorded the first match by Frankel, so his run is on Napnicker's channel. If you go to YouTube and just type in Napnicker, you'll find his channel. And the only thing is he's not getting any game audio in it, but you can still watch the run on there. I think it was his first visit to the table, he said. Oh, is that Mark under the name of Rachel Stevens? Sounds very like it. Good evening and welcome. So Frankel at the table, and a poor safety by djsimon has given him an opportunity here. Now let's have a look at the 3 ball, because this is the other next important thing about your game, is the break ball, and the 3 ball is outside the triangle, so that's an excellent break ball, and he needs to go further, and I think he's okay. Now he has to watch that he stuns this rather than runs off the pack. He can easily scratch. Now I think he's dead and buried. Let's have a look. Well, he's got a tough 9 ball here. This is awkward, and he can see it, but he's queuing over those couple of balls. Now, at this stage of the match, obviously, Frankel's keen to go for everything to keep his run going, but if that was me there, I would have just run that cue ball tight into the bunch to keep it safe. But that won't be the case with Frankel. He's got an 11 ball, but he's not going to have much more unless he gets a break here. Well, he's still okay. And those balls there in this bunch, there's a good opportunity to break them or just to open them up and free them up, which he's gone for straight away. Once again, he's relying on luck to stay on a ball, and that's generally not the best strategy. He's now playing the combo. All combos need to be called in straight pool. In fact, all shots in reality should be called, but we're playing in the honours system in this tournament, which I hope most of the players understand, that you play your shot but you miss call and you play honest and fair. But nevertheless, Frankel's run has gone to 13, and this again is the other part of the strategy of straight pool. Right now, Frankel hasn't decided what his break ball is going to be, simply because the table's still a wee bit ugly down here, but if we look, we can see that that ball there is encroaching into the triangle, so that's not going to be a break ball. And these other balls are already in the triangle, and that 11 ball I think is encroaching in it as well, so there's a problem here. The chances are it could end up being a ball down in the break spot, but that remains to be seen. It can still change, but the likelihood of him continuing the run all hinges on how he moves these balls about. He can certainly create a good break ball, but he has to be planning ahead for that. That 14 ball would be a good break ball, because if you get a good angle on the 14, you can pot that, come off the side rail and into the bunch to nudge them out. That's one option he has. But I think with the lay of the balls here, he's got no other option but to take it. So now we're getting down to a problem as well, where the 8 ball's still lying over here. He needs to deal with that. He has to get rid of that ASAP. And he's still not paying any attention to it, but he has to get rid of the 8 ball. It's no good there as a break ball, and it serves no purpose at all where it's sitting. The chances are he could end up having to take the 8 ball and trying to fire the cue ball around the table. Well, now he's decided to go for it. Let's have another look at these 2 balls. Yeah, they're both affecting the triangle, I think. It's difficult to judge, but it looks as if they're both encroaching on it. Hard to say whether the rack will set there without these balls being replaced. Now, that one's definitely in it, so that's going on to this. Oh no, it isn't. Oh well, my eyes must be getting really bad. When you look at it from that angle, you can see it's outside, but that just proves I'm blind. So this is a good break ball. How's his luck? That's much better. And now he's got lots of opportunities here. Again, part of the strategy is you have to deal with your blocking balls. Balls that are obscuring the run to a pocket. You have to get rid of them. And the 8 ball looks like the candidate here. I think you can see the 8 ball. Now that opens up the pocket a bit more for the one that's over on the left hand side, which I think is the 13, the orange stripe. These other balls, get rid of the 1, you can nudge the 15 out of the way to get the 9, or you can play the 9 from this end. So again, you don't have to move stuff around when you don't have to. When the balls are sitting there, you have to just manoeuvre the cue ball. You don't have to start running them around. A run goes to, what is it? I can't see that, my eyes are really terrible. 26. So that's the 13 ball has gone down, and remember he's just cleared that pocket, so he's nudged another ball into the cluster though. The 14's now locked up, and now the angle, well, he's a bit straight. He doesn't want to try and squeeze any more out of this 15 ball. He should just pot it, and it's not the right time to try and nudge them. But if he gets good, which he has the opportunity now on this 9 ball, he can come down here and play the 7 and break them up a wee bit. And don't forget, he's still got the 11 ball at the bottom of the table here as well, but now he's got the perfect opportunity to deal with them. Just doesn't need to thump it, just needs to nudge them out of the way. And that's, oh, now that is a bad mistake. So focused on the little break there, he's took his eye off the pot. So Frankel's run ends at 30, and djsimon has to run what's left in this table. And now he has to get rid of that 7. He's got the angle to get the cue ball along the top rail. Oh, well, he could have done with a wee nudge, but he's still okay. And now if he drops a 3 in, he can get rid of the 6, because again, it's tight in the rail. Well, needs a wee bit more. That's still tight. Probably best getting rid of the 11 ball. The 4 ball's a good break ball, so he doesn't want to be touching that. Now, what he wants to do now is get that cue ball on the end rail, give him the angle on the 14, come down and out for the 4. So somewhere around about there's where he wants to be. Now that needs to keep running. I think he's ended up straight here. I don't know whether he can squeeze anything out of that to get the cue ball down for the break shot in the 4. Well, that looks okay, but he's gone too straight, too much juice. And now he's going to try and force something here. He's got very little angle to work with. He'll do well to get anything out of this. Yeah, it was never going to happen. And that's why it's so important in getting that break shot. So, well, at least Simon did the first objective, and that was to clear the table. But if he's going to get any runs in the game, that's the part that might let him down, is getting good on the break ball. And now we're going to get a bit of nudging and safety here, and this is something that's so easy to go wrong as well. When you're nudging the pack, it's very easy just to knock a ball out, and that changes the strategy straight away, because now we've got an open ball. And Frankel can just run into the pack, play a deliberate foul. Well, he's hit a rail anyway. And when you're playing safeties like this into the rack of balls, you should always be looking for combos, any combination shots. Now you see Frankel's wise to the situation. Simon's now on 1 foul, and he's now the underdog in this safety exchange. If it nudges backward and forward, he can't afford to play a second foul because Frankel will probably tie him right up and make it very difficult for him. And that's why you have to keep your wits about you in the safety exchanges and straight pull. 3 fouls in straight pull doesn't mean the end of the game. It means you give your opponent 18 points. And Simon's already playing catch up, so he doesn't want to walk into that trap. So the mistake has been made. Frankel's got a starter, and he's also got 2 opportunities to break into that bunch of balls off the 9 and the 3. And he's looking to do something now. It's not the best of angles. He just needs to keep this on line. He's nudged a few out. Now, how's he sitting here? Has he got a shot? Yes, he has. Simon's really got to keep it tight. Well, now if we look at what we have up here, once again, nothing needs to be moved here. These balls both go as long as you get rid of the 11 ball first. It's just getting positioned on it to play the shot. But he's got the 2 stuck in the middle of the triangle. Well, he's now nudged him out. He's actually nudged the 8 ball into a break ball. Maybe a wee bit further away from the pack than he would like, but if he can get a good angle on it, he's got a break ball. And that 11 and 3 aren't a combo, although the 3 ball goes into the middle. So once again, nothing needs to be moved here as long as you get position on the 3. So let's see what he does. Now he may well have made up his mind what his break ball's going to be, because also that other one, that 13 I think it is a possible break ball. It's a bit high on the pack though, for comfort. He might get rid of that now, as a matter of fact, or he might play the 3 because he's now got the shot in the 3. So I'm guessing that the 8 ball's the break ball. I draw off the 11 and gets rid of the 13. Or is he running through for the 5? Well, he looks as if he's playing the draw. Now, again, it looks like the little run through has to get the angle on the 5 to come off the rail and out. And that was the one that Simon got wrong in his break shot attempt. Let's see what Frankel can do. Well, he's leaving himself high. That way he's coming off the rail and can be more accurate in his positional shot. He can come this way or go that way up with this shot. How does that look? That's, well, it's a bit straight again. It's a bit straight. He's going to have to thump this in to nudge something out. He's not got enough angle. Well, he's done actually better than I thought he could there. That's ended up not bad. Now, he doesn't want to get greedy. The 5 balls there, he could smack into that and try and break them, more of them up, but he doesn't need to. He's not in any desperate situation here. Just needs to tidy up what there is out there. He's got opportunities off these surrounding balls round the bunch to actually break more of them out. Well, he's played the aggressive shot there. Again, when you play that from that end of the pack, you're just relying on luck to get on a ball. And you can't rely on luck all the time. But that's now pretty much opened everything up. So his only real problem balls are these 2 balls at the bottom of the table here and the 2 ball on the side rail. They have to be taken care of fairly quickly, and then he can concentrate on the more important end of the table up there. He needs to deal with these very soon. This is where you get rid of that stuff. Get rid of all of this stuff here. And then you just end up focusing on where the business is up there. So the run goes to 19, well 20. Now he's still concentrating on the top end of the pack. I'd be more inclined to deal with these balls down here now, because the less balls you have up that top end where the action is, the less options you're going to have available. So he may well have already made his mind up it's the 9 ball that's going to be the break ball. And now, well, he's got a shot in that 3 ball. He can get rid of the 3 into the middle, because the 3's blocked into the top right hand corner by the 14 ball. So it looks like it's going to be the 10, the 2 in the left rail, and then the 3. That looks like the pattern. And he's got a nice little angle on the 2 just to nudge it down the rail and come off the rail and get out for good position on the 3 ball. Now, how's the angle there? Well, that's fine. Play a little bit of inside right English just to check the cue ball and leave himself on the 14. And, well, that's a perfect angle to get the angle on this 9. And that will do, as long as it slows up. He's got the slight angle again. The danger here again is with this stun shot is running off the pack. Well, he's played the draw, and that's the mistake. Obviously concentrating and making sure he doesn't scratch into the pocket he was playing the ball in, but the other problem is too much draw draws it off the pack. And his run comes to an end, but he now leads djsimon by 50 points. And my advice is to djsimon is you're going to have to score what there is here and keep it tight. Even if you're only pegging back 8 or 9 balls, it's still 8 or 9 balls on your score sheet than it is on your opponent's. And I don't think he's got an awful lot to go on there. Well, he's got a thin cut in the 14, but that's about it. He's got an awkward 13. Well, has a shot in the 1. This needs a little sort of delicate. Well, I was going to play a little delicate drag shot. He's still okay. 3 ball. Again, he's nudging into balls he didn't need to. As long as he gets rid of that 7 ball, it opens the pocket up. Now, these other balls here, once again, they don't need to be moved. As long as you get on this side of them, you've got a shot. So, with that shot there, he's at least finished on a couple of balls. This is not as easy as it looks, because he's having to let the cue ball run, and he's again relying on just luck to get on a ball. It is not the best strategy to be playing in straight pool. You have to be assertive and 100% on actually playing for a target ball. And now he's getting himself a wee bit out of shape here. He's got the 5 obviously, and it's going to have to be the 6 or the 13. Now, right now is where he has to be thinking a little roll through, and he can finish on either of those 2 balls. He's got a big target in those 2 balls, but he can go right behind him now. But he doesn't seem interested. And now he's not got the angle to do that. And now he's got, his options are limited. May well run into the 8 ball here and needs to control the pace though. And once again, that is just relying on luck to get on the ball. And now what does he do? Those 2 balls are still sitting there. We know that they pot in the left hand corner. And now he is out of line. He's got no shot other than a thin cut down the rail. And it's just backing himself into a corner. When you start running out of balls, you start running out of options, and now he's not got any other option other than to either call the bank or go for the cut. That's a good shot. Now, you can play now the shot. I don't know whether he'll think about this, but you can pot the ball, play with top left-hand English, and you kick off the rail and you go that way and come into the pack. The left-hand English fires the cue ball off the corner onto the end rail, side rail, and into the bunch. But you need to be playing it with top left-hand English in order to play that shot. And all he's done is just stun it across the table. And this is where your knowledge of the angles and how you use English comes to your aid in getting into that bunch of balls. And now he's left Frankel a chance to split them. He's given a little nudge. Now even that nudge there is all he needed. He's got 1 ball to work with. And I think the only unlucky side of it is he's dead straight. So he can only go forward or back. And if he goes forward, he can land in the 7. And there's a little narrow window to get into. So he's tried to squeeze an angle. That's actually ended up not too bad. He's got a sighter on the 3. Now, even though he's only got that 3 ball, he should have already have studied the pack of balls to see if there's anything that's makeable. So, you try to stun that a bit more to get good on this 13 ball cuts, but it's a tight angle to be working with. He's overcut it. Very difficult to read that shot. And now Simon is left with a chance here. And he needs to remap his replay button, unless he's not paying attention and actually had to play that to see what was happening. But this is going to move something. So he's played the aggressive shot, and look at the table. There's 1, 2, 3. Every ball will pot as long as you get the pattern right. And the problem ball would be the 6 ball, because it's blocking the path to that corner pocket. So your pattern has to be right in order to open up the table for these balls here. Now, he's I don't think he can see the 1, can he? Oh, he can just squeeze it. So let's see how Simon's pattern is here, because we know there's an issue here at the moment. The 6 can pot there as long as you get on there by just stopping at the 4 ball. He's stunned into the middle of the table. I think this is a place to look at fairly quickly. Well, now he can play the 6 gently and just roll it in, just drop it into the pocket. He doesn't want this cue ball running. Well, he's still got options, although he's against the 2. He can get rid of the 14 because he won't want to be working up the bottom end of the table. Well, that is the top there, but it's the bottom as we normally look. So now he has to have made his choice for his break ball, and the 2 is in the triangle, so it's no good there. And the 8 ball looks like favourite for the break ball. Again, it's a bit high on the pack, but he has to get good on that 8 ball this time to get some of that deficit away. He's ended up straight here, I think. No, he's got a slight angle. So this is the next 2 important shots in this visit. Well, that's good. It's good because he can squeeze the angle as well with a bit of left English. He wants to play the draw. And how's that? Well, very similar to what Frankel had, although the 8 ball's a lot further from the pack. So he's nudged into the top side of the pack. He's got 1 ball to go for, then the 15, the 4, the 15, the 9. You've got the 1 sitting there as well. So no desperate measures need to be taken right now. There's the 14 ball is a break ball for this bundle of balls here. So he needs to get up the table. And he can do that by resting on the rail, potting the 15 and coming out there and down here somewhere. So you've got to get it clear in your mind what you're up to. So we'll give him a strategy that he could do. It looks as if he's going to try and break something here with that 1 ball. Well, he's still okay. He's got the shot in the 9. Let's look at that 14. Well, he's locked to 14 up, but the 6 ball goes. He still can play the same shot. If he gets onto that 15, as long as he's closer to the rail or higher than it, he can create an angle and get up the table. And he can break these balls with this 6 ball. And hopefully he's looked at that. Well, he's playing the draw again. And now he's out of line. That wouldn't be the shot I would have played there. I would have ran out and come into the middle of the table and played the 6. So now he's having to play a combo. Oh, it's a bank. He wants to kill the cue ball there. Well, he's got the bank. And now it's desperation stakes here, because he's got 1 option and it isn't very good. Now he could play the safety. He could play the deliberate foul into these 2 balls and just keep it tight. But he's desperate to keep the run going, but it's much better to keep it tight. If you can't score, make sure your opponent can't score. And this is where players totally forget about the strategy in straight pull. There's nothing to say you can't just roll dead into those balls and play a deliberate foul. But he's played the 7 and he's still desperate now for another shot. And he's got nothing really on here. He could try playing the combo onto the 15. Try to squeeze it in on its own. And Simon's run comes to an end at 18. But having just got himself back into the match, he's sort of given it away by not really keeping it tight and desperately trying to just keep a run going. And sometimes you're trying to bite off a bit more than you can chew. You've just got to know it. And as I said to Simon earlier on, know your limitations. Just don't be desperate to try and impress. You get yourself on a decent wee run, then protect it. Because you're playing right into Frankel's hands if you're just giving him easy starters. Because he's just going to keep scoring. So having done all the work there to get those 18 points and trailing by just like 10 or 11 points, he's going to see it all seep away here. Well, we've got a ball tight in the rail. It looks like the 15 ball from here. on the top end, so he needs an angle to get away from it. So he'll play that now and get the cue ball up the table. 2 ball's a good break ball, 14's a good break ball. It all hinges on where he finishes up here. Straight up the middle of the table. And that is what you would call more or less a perfect break shot. Right into the side of the pack. And another ball has gone in. Where's the cue ball? Oh, thought he'd scratched there, but he's sitting pretty, I think. Or really is he? I don't think he's got that great a choice here, now that I look at it closer. He's not got a heck of a lot of choice. That 6 ball's very tight past the 9, and he's got a thin cut in the 1 into that middle pocket. You should get that, no problem. But the other thing is, in a lot of billiard games and pool games, you don't want to let the cue ball start running about. You want to keep it tight. But now Frankel's in a pretty solid position now to extend the gap, and the gap now goes to 31. Now, in the professional game of straight pool, they do play tournaments where it's like a race to 150, and it's not the first time that it's happened where a player loses a lag, he's put in to break, and he breaks off, and that's the only shot he ever plays in the whole match, because their opponent has come to the table with a shot on, and they've run 150 and out. That's how tough straight pool is at the professional level. I mean, those guys are lethal, and you know, that's why the lag is such an important part of the game, to get the choice of that break and force your opponent in, because the penalty for losing the break in straight pool in professional straight pool is so severe. So, Frankel, he's 2 for the price of 1 there, but he's actually caused himself a problem. He's locked up the 5 and the 11. And he's not got a great shot in this too. This is not an easy shot, but it's really his only choice. Yeah, very, very difficult. Playing it at pace to leave himself on the 6 or the 7. But all he's done is given Simon a couple of balls. Simon's got the split. He's also got a potential break ball in that 5 ball. Again, it's a bit further away from the pack. And now he should get rid of that 11. Deal with the 11 ball. Decide that his 5's going to be the break ball. And then get a good shot off the 10 to get out into the table on that 5. Well, he could go forward with left English off this right side rail, end rail, and left side rail. He needs to play that with a bit more aggression though. He's left that way, way short by a country mile. And it's shots like that that shorten your visits to the table in straight pool. If you can't get that cue ball manoeuvre to where you want it to go, then you're struggling. But Frankel sitting in 78 or 76, whatever it says, 78. djsimon in 45. Now who's going to win this little safety exchange here? And it's all down to that deft little touch, just skimming off the balls. But one slight error and you'll nudge a ball out of that pack and could well be giving your opponent an easy starter. So always good to try and get distance in your safety from the pack, because it makes it a bit more awkward for your opponent. And every time your opponent has played a shot, you should always come up and have a look at that pack and look and see if there's any possible combination shots or any billiards that you might be able to pick out. And I don't see much going there. So we've got a couple of balls that broke away from the pack. We've got the 8 ball and I think that's the 12 ball, isn't it, that purple one? So they're in the open at the back of the pack. So you've got to protect those balls, or protect the cue ball anyway, and keep it well away from any possible cut shot on them. Well, that's actually ended up not a bad safety. He didn't mean to hit the knuckle, wanted to get that down onto this end rail here as we look. Now Simon has to be careful here with this one. And now he's left Frankel an easy safety. He can get the edge of the 15, tuck it along towards the 8 and the 12 and get the cue ball right up the table here. Well, he's a bit short, wanted to get right down, tucked onto the rail. But what he's done is he's covered the option of hitting anything in that top rail. He's forcing Simon into nudging the pack. Once again, have a look at the pack and see if there's anything there. Well, that 9 and 10 aren't lined up. There's just a little gap from them, between the two of them. Well, this edge of the 3 is going to nudge something, and it's nudged the 11 out. But the cue ball is good. A possible reverse bank could be called here, but I don't think Frankel's that keen. But once again, he's just nudged the 13 out. If he could hide that behind the pack, it makes it more difficult for djsimon, but he's actually just squirted it out and made it an easier safety. And likewise again for Frankel, just skim the 12 ball in the rail with a bit of left English, just to avoid running into the pack. And still trying to get it right tight on that rail. Now this is the dangerous one. That 3 ball. Oh, you could see the 8. Well, that's okay. Well, now it's Frankel that's going to have to play the thin edge off the 3. But he needs to look at where the 3 ball's going when he hits it. And he's done no damage. So now we've got 2 clusters of balls, one hiding the other. And that 9 and 10 aren't set now because the 1's in the way. They weren't set in the first place. And now everything's been moved again. Nothing happening at all. There's nothing set there. Well, if you look at the 2 and the 7 and the 4, I might change my mind. And, well, Frankel's given Simon a sighter on the 2. And that 2 and 7 and 4, I think, are pretty near set because there's a gap that could nudge the 4 into the corner, but that would be an aggressive shot. Now, I wonder if any of the 2 players has looked at that. Let's have another look. If you look at that 2 onto the 7, and there is a gap, so the 7 would cut into the 4, there's a very strong possibility that could combo. And, well, the 9 and the 1 and the 14 aren't set, but that looks very inviting. But now the mistake has been made anyway, and Frankel can cut the 8. And that now has well, given 4 or 5 balls here for Frankel to pick off and extend his lead. Again, taking the opportunity there to be aggressive because he'd be extremely unlucky not to be on a ball on either the left or the right hand side of the table. That's why there are right times and wrong times to start nudging balls about and try and free up the table. This time he had good choices either way. Well, he could probably take that 3 ball next. Just get rid of it. Well, he's not played for it because he's not gone far enough to be comfortable. Looking to just nudge these about again. A little draw off the 1. Well, now he's got a problem. If he'd got rid of that 3, he wouldn't have had that problem with the 14. So he'd maybe have to play a combo, and that's nowhere near set. So that's he's now created a problem for keeping his run going. Should have taken the 3 ball when you had the chance. This is why I say you have to deal with potential problem balls when you have the first opportunity. Well, he's corrected that situation. Nice little cannon onto the 14, and he's freed up the 3 off the rail, and he's back in business for the time being, although the table's ugly as far as a break shot's concerned. This time he might actually, he could leave the 3 as a break ball, come off the rail into the pack. I'll do that a bit better. That's ugly looking. But that could be the candidate for the break ball. Cut the 3 and into the pack with the cue ball. I don't know whether that 7's much good as a break shot. It's right at the point of the triangle. Well, take the 14, take the 7 into the middle and get a good angle on the 3 looks to be the plan here. And leave the 3 as a break ball. So he wants this cue ball somewhere round about here. Well, He's way short with that. He's going to have to cut this with a lot of right English. And he's made this shot 10 times more difficult than it could have been. But he's played a good shot. And now he's well in control. The run goes to 14. He now leads 92 to 45. And he's got another stack of balls here to work with. Just looking at these two balls here. Once again, those two balls, there isn't a problem with them as long as your pattern is right. So he could cut the 10. I don't know whether he can actually squeeze past the 9 to nudge something here, but he doesn't need to. Well, he's taking the 9 first. And now he's got an angle on the 10. I don't know whether it's a big enough angle. Maybe that's why he's looking at the 15 into the right middle. Well, now he's perfect. He can pot the 14 and he's then playing on the right side of those two balls. I don't know whether he's looking at that now, but that's the shot he should be playing. Play the 14 and get yourself on either of those two and you open it up. Well, he's come back a bit further really than he wanted, but he should still be alright. That's why, no, he doesn't like it. He can still get a second opportunity off this 11 though. He can still draw back. Oh dear, well, there's a mistake. And that was a wee bit of indecision. Just got not ideally on that 6 ball. And that forced him into taking the 11. But he didn't even play the draw to come back. He stunned it into the middle pocket. So it's an unexpected error by Frankel. And it's a chance for Simon to try and pick off these remaining balls and try eat into some of that deficit and make the score a little bit more respectable. But he has to keep his focus on what he's doing here. Well, that's not helped it very much. He's locked up 2 balls. Now, what can you do with these? Well, they're not a problem again if you can drop this side of them. He's playing fancy draw shots to open things. Well, it's got to be the 4. Little soft draw back for the 8. And now he's a wee bit back in line. But where's his break ball coming from? It might have to be that 13 at the back of the pack. Well, it definitely is now. So it's important that he gets some sort of angle on this 13. He's got to drag this in. And has he left anything? I don't think he has. Has he? Oh, he's going to have to really thump this in. Well, it could have finished worse. He's got the 8 ball. Good evening, have ye? Now, that name I haven't seen before. Oh, that's a disaster. That is an absolute disaster. A good chance here for Simon. And it's all blown away. And this is a gift of a start for Frankel. Well, that's either Spanish or Portuguese, my friend, but I'm afraid I don't know either. So somebody's going to have to translate that for me. I'll focus a bit more on what Frankel's up to here. Well, he gets rid of the 15 ball here. Well, he's not looking at the 15 ball, but I'd really be getting rid of it, and that way you don't have to think about it for the rest of the run. You just get rid of that problem ball and deal with the rest of the stuff up the top end of the table. There, Popman, you're doing nothing. Get that copied and type it into Google Translate and tell me what the guy's saying, please. I need a help and I could not download the game. Who save us is? I need an allude and I could not download the game. Well, so is it Spanish or Portuguese? Tell him, you know, give him the URL to Celerus website, to the VP4 website, and then wish him good luck. Well, Simon, you're an admin. You do your job. Right, back to the game. Frankel has now reached an important landmark. He's now over the 100. And he's leading 101 to 53. And the only two problem balls are stuck together there, but he's got a nice option off that 6 ball just to nudge one of them out of the way. Oh, he's finished tight in the rail. That's not where you want to be. Well, that looks like a bonus. Maybe not, no. 11 balls. That's awkward. He's not got an angle off the 6 to break them. But he doesn't need to worry about that. If he pots the 6 and he gets something on the 1, he could probably nudge something that way, but... Oh, that's unlucky, because that would have been perfect if he'd run into the 14 there. It would have held for the 1. But the 9's over the pocket, so he's still got an opportunity here. Well, Simon, you're going to have to remember the guy's name and search for it on VP4 and see if that's actually his account name, and then send some Spanish or Portuguese help messages to him. Now, all of that problem would have been dealt with had Steve at least done some language translation for Virtual Pool 4. And that would have helped a lot of these people from other countries actually understand getting this game set up and how to download it. If he'd invested in that, he would have had a lot more people probably playing the game, as it was more language friendly to other countries, which it isn't. Anyway, don't get me started moaning about it. So djsimon at the table, and he hasn't got a good break ball here. And that 11 ball's no good as a break ball. It's no great position at all. So just the safety coming up. And just try and keep everything tight. So Simon's visit is just 4. And well, he's got a lot of hard work and he's going to need a lot of assistance if he's going to do any inroads into this deficit. Frankel just needs another 44 to go through to round 3. That's freed up the 8 ball into the middle of the table, so that means that both players have to be careful with their touch and their weight of shot. If you're brushing off the edge of the pack, it's been able to hide that cue ball behind the bunch and hide that 8 ball. Right. Well, Frankel has played a poor one, and Simon wants to be taking as much time as he can here because he's got a good opportunity here. Take as much time as you can over every shot just to make sure. Now, it's very easy, very, very easy with the lay of these balls to get yourself totally out of shape very quickly here. Simon's got to be careful because there's not an awful lot of options there unless you get good. Like right now, there's 4 balls there, none of which pot. That 14 is a difficult to judge cut. It may well go. Well, you see, that's the problem. It's so easy just to get out of line and then get desperate and force yourself into playing a shot like that. And a chance where he should have probably been scoring maybe 8 or 9 or more and running the rack, he's only ended up getting 3. And that won't get the job done, I'm afraid. And it's just handed it back to Frankel. Now, the table is always going to be untidy as long as you have that there and this here. Those 2 balls are doing nothing sitting where they are. They just need to be taken care of quickly. Because all the time that you're working on those balls that are up there, you're still distracted by these 2 balls on this right hand side of the table. So at some point, fairly quickly, you've got to get yourself on one of them and take care of them. Now's the chance to deal with that. And he can do the same with the 9. He can get rid of that right now as well. He'd still be able to get himself on the 14 in the left hand rail. Now that 5 ball, if I can get up there, that's going to be a good break ball. So that's the one he's probably decided on. So he's left himself the angle on the 9. So anything but straight on this 14 ball in the left hand rail. Well, that's a strange choice. He's going to have to leave himself the angle on the 14 again, and it's going to be thin. And still a little feather of right hand English here. And that's why he's missed the 14. Again, I think Frankel's choice of shot there is certainly different from what I would have played. And that's why his run's come to an end. So the run is 10. But the lead is 116 to 60. And djsimon can't say he hasn't had enough opportunities. He's had plenty where he should have been scoring double or treble the amount he's actually had in runs at each visit. And that was very ambitious, a very difficult cut, and straight away Frankel's back in. Now what choice has he got here? Well, not a lot. He's got the 5 down the rail or the 2. Well, now he's going to be aggressive. He's going to be nudging into balls here. But it relies on that bit of luck to get good on the next shot. And, well, he's still got the cut back in the 6, but it could have been easier. So Frankel moves on to 120, and this could be end of match here potentially if he can run the remainder of these balls. Now, if that had just slowed up there, it'd have been nice on the 4. I think that's the one he played for, but he's got a second choice. And now's the time to get rid of the 5 ball. And he can play the 4, and he can drop in behind these balls here and get onto either of them. In fact, he's got the wrong angle. He might actually just be able to nudge. And that'll do. That's fine. He's on the 13. And now it's going to be the 3 ball as the break ball. Might need a bit of right English here to punch off the rail and come up the table. No, obviously the angle wasn't there at all. So, well, this is going to have to be a good shot to get a break. As you're lining up the bank. Well, this is, well, if he's trying anything here, it's only because he's got a big lead. Going to cut this into the right hand corner and try and draw into the pack off the side rail. Oh, he's actually able to nudge into it. But it's an easy starter for Simon. And it's another visit of 13 points for Frankel. Well, now Simon has a chance on the 4 ball. Again, it's a tough shot. Playing it with, again, right English. Has to focus on the pot. And the cue balls, well, he's got a tough one. Can he get to the 7? Yes, he can. Now, well, this is a chance. I don't know whether he wants to try and run through far enough here and get on to this 15. If he runs through to here, he's got a shot in the 15 and he can break the balls. He needs to look at that. Well, maybe the angle was different from what I saw it as, but he could still nudge the 1 off the 15. And now he's ended up dead straight, so now he's only got the straight shot. So that's gone wrong. Is there any combos in this bunch? Well, no, there isn't. Well, he's getting ambitious now. He's called the combo bank on the 9. Oh, the 1 ball, sorry, not the 9. And well, the only good thing about that is there's still a bunch of balls tied up. The hard work's going to have to be done by Frankel, and he's done it straight away. Let's have a look at this 10 ball. Well, it's in the triangle, so that's no good to Frankel. Get rid of the 11. Take care of the 13. Well, he could possibly... Well, that's what I was thinking. He could possibly leave the 13 as a break ball, believe it or not, and run the cue ball into the pack, but he's taking care of the 13. The 8 ball looks a good break ball, but that might be going right now. If he'd got further up the table, he could have taken the 1 into the left middle there. Now, I don't know whether he can get into the pack here. He got it around the angles. And, well, this should be end of match. Frankel's in 137. Just needs the 3 balls. And it should be a simple enough out. Well, Frankel made more than enough errors to give Simon enough opportunities to score, and the biggest problem was Simon couldn't score enough on each visit. Had he been able to do so, he would have been well in the match. Could have been a different story if Simon was scoring 15 and 20 on those visits rather than just 3 and 4. What was I saying? I'm losing count here myself. I'm forgetting it's 150. I'm thinking it was 140. 150 needs... See, that's always what happens when it gets to my bedtime. My brain starts locking down. And he definitely needs 6 balls to win. He just drop onto the end rail here probably. Or is he coming back? Am I just nudging him again? So all of these balls are sitting there for the taking, but he only needs 3 of them. Well, straight pull always looks an easy game when you see people just potting balls, but it's such a tough game to be able to play it right. And even though there's a lot of guys who play Virtual Pool 4 are all high class players, and I mean Frankel's one of them, because he doesn't play straight pool, and most of us don't, because we don't play straight pool enough, we haven't got good at the strategy at it. And if these top guys were as good as real life pros, they'd be running 150. That's how tough the game is. But anyway, Frankel has comfortably moved through to round 3. He's going to find it tougher as the tournament goes on. Simon, the best advice to Simon, I mean, he's got 6 to 8 there, and if you look at that in another day, had he been able to take those opportunities, he would have been over the 100, no problem at all. And if he'd kept it tight, he'd have got over 100 easily. But Frankel wins the match 150 to 6 to 8, and he'll move on to round 3. So Frankel's well ahead in the tournament stakes here. He's going to have to wait on results now as the tournament moves on. We'll have a quick look at the bracket, and well, we see Frankel's now through to round 3, and the one thing's for sure, and I'm going to stick my head on the block here, and with no disrespect to Gunnet, but Larry's going to have a bad day in Virtual Pool 4 if he's not going to come through that match. And the more important thing in the next round is that it's more than likely, unless Larry doesn't turn up and forfeits the match, it's more than likely that Frankel's going to play Larry, and the one thing's for certain is that he's going to find it a heck of a lot tougher against Larry in the next round. So that's a match to look forward to. You're going to see 2 contenders in that, although, you know, Larry came through his first match 150 to 94, and he came from behind to win that match, and won what well, he certainly didn't live up to his rating from what we saw in that match. I joined that fairly late, but Larry came through it, and that's the match we look forward to in the next round. There are no other matches on the bracket that are scheduled. None that I can see it anyway. We've got Baker Maker going to be playing Albinario, and Albinario, well, again, his problem is he doesn't play enough Virtual Pool 4 anymore. But he's up against Baker Maker, who came through against Mr. Bill. So Baker Maker looks as if he's certainly no mug, and Albinario will have to be on his game in that match. Mr. Bill already playing through in the one loss side. So there's we're in the very early stages of this tournament. A lot of matches still to be played, but we've already got a potential match of the tournament lined up. We've got Semi-Pro, who's came through against Senny by 150 points to 90, and well, he's waiting on the winner. Oh, well, in fact, he's going to have a fair wait, because Mark Shark is lined up to play Vinces at some point, and then the winner of that match will play Gung Ho, and then whoever wins that match is going to play Semi-Pro. So whoever comes through from this side of the bracket is going to have a tough match against Semi-Pro. So we'll worry about that when the time comes. Thanks for your company, guys, whoever's still out there and hasn't fallen asleep listening to me ranting on. I am going to bid you good night, and hopefully we'll get another few matches as this tournament progresses. So until then, we will see you again soon. Thanks for your company.